Hello friends, welcome to a new declutter. Today is part 2 of my declutter series for 2024. Today we're going to be working on foundations. Then I also just have very few primers in my collection and also setting sprays. I've mentioned I've been trying to have a more minimal collection for the past couple of years now, and I feel like this particular declutter shows that I've been doing a pretty good job, but still I want to go through everything, decide what I want to keep, decide what I want to declutter. I did already post my declutter for blushes, bronzers, highlights, face palettes. I mentioned in there that I'm going to be doing 7 parts for my declutter series. Again, this is part 2. And at the end, I am actually going to be combining all of my declutters together and putting one gigantic declutter on my channel. Part 1 was an hour long, so that will be a very long video for those of you who love long videos, who love long declutters, who want to see my full makeup collection, all the good things. So I did want to point that out at the start of each of my declutters. But I'm glad a lot of you enjoyed my first declutter. I'm excited for part 2, and let's jump into it. All right, so first up, I'm going to be focusing on the setting sprays and also the primers because there are so few of them. So for my primers, I think last year with my declutter, I kept these 2, and it looks like we've added in the milk this year. Now, I often say I'm not someone who wears primer very often. A lot of times I say like, oh, I put my sunscreen on already, and that kind of like it counts as my primer. There are some times though that I do want to wear primer, so I like to have a couple in my collection. I don't know if you can tell with these 2 that I kept last year, like they have been very well loved, well used. Like I feel like this Lawless one is about gone. This one from Lawless, they kind of describe it as like a skincare product as well, where it's like very moisturizing, very hydrating on the skin. A lot of times with this one, it's like I can use it as my moisturizer and my primer in one. I do have more dry skin, so because it's very hydrating, I just really like this. So again, set the stage, the hydrating priming serum. I just think this is such a nice primer and kind of like one of those duo products, so I'm going to keep that one. And then this one from Urban Decay, this is their all-nighter face primer. It's their long wear foundation grip to prep, smooth, and perfect. I like this one because it does really have that gripping effect. Again, how the veins doing? Got a lot of comments about my veins in my first declutter. This is one where like if you have an event or something like that, you really want your makeup to stay on. Maybe you have problems with your makeup kind of sliding around. The Urban Decay is going to be a really good option for that. So I like to keep the 2 for like, I feel like these are the 2 perfect primers for no matter what I need, no matter what my makeup look is going to be like or my night is going to be like. I feel like these 2 really have me covered. So I'm going to keep those once again. And then this one here from Milk Makeup, this is the Pore Eclipse Mattifying Primer. For me, because I do have dry skin, a mattifying primer is not something that I feel is super necessary in my collection. I've only tried this one a couple of times, but I feel like this is one that I could find a new home for. So once again, I'm just going to be keeping 2 primers and decluttering 1. So that gives me 2 primers in my collection. Next up, we have my sprays. Once again, I'm someone who says a lot, like I don't always use a setting spray or a finishing spray. There's still a few that I like to keep around in my collection, but it's not like an absolute must for me, so I don't feel like I need a gigantic collection of these. This is the Airbrush Flawless Setting Spray. It says party all night, stay all day. This to me, you can see that I haven't really used a lot of it. This to me is kind of like hairspray. I know I've seen people describe it that way, and it's just not my favorite. It makes my face feel a little bit too almost like tacky when I use this, and it's just not one that I really reach for because I feel like I have other ones in my collection that I feel like are so much better, and I don't like the way that it makes my face feel. This is one I know it really does lock your makeup in place though, so if you really struggle with your makeup moving around or anything like that, then this will be a good option for you. I just personally don't have that problem, and I don't like the way that it makes my skin feel, so I'm going to declutter that. One that I will always have in my collection, I swear, is from MAC, and this is the Fix Plus. This has been a product that I have had in my collection for many years, and it's one that I continue to repurchase myself. This one was like, I think I've maybe gotten like a couple from MAC in PR throughout the years. I used to be on their PR list years ago, but I'm not anymore, and this is one that I continue to repurchase if I don't have it in my collection. This one is described as more of like your finishing spray. This I just think is so pretty. If I use a lot of powder, like if I'm using a lot of powder foundation, you know, I'm using a lot of setting powder with like my concealer or anything like that, and I feel like my face is just like a little too much. This is such a nice one to be able to just spray my whole face with, and I just feel like it settles down the powders. It makes the skin look more natural again, and it's just kind of like how it says Fix Plus. Like I really do feel like it's kind of like the makeup fixer. Like if you have that problem, you go a little too heavy on the powder, like this is going to fix it. And so this is one that I will just always have in my collection. So I'm definitely going to be keeping that one. We also have the Urban Decay All Nighter Spray. Now this to me is very similar to the primer that I was talking about. I mean, obviously like they're the same. We got the regular primer and then the setting spray. But to me, this is another one of those that really does what it says it's going to do, and it helps make your makeup last. Again, I don't know if it's just because I have dry skin. I don't know if it's because even when I do my makeup, I don't feel like honestly, I don't even really know if this has anything to do with it, but I'm not particularly heavy-handed. I'm very light with my foundation. I'm very light with my concealer. I'm very light with my powder. I'm very light with my eyeshadows, right? But I just don't feel like I have issues with my makeup like really moving that much. But if I do, if I know I'm going to be gone for a long night or something like that, I often find myself like, oh, let me just give myself a little extra insurance with the All Nighter from Urban Decay. Again, this is one that like I've repurchased this one. I've bought like minis of this one. I think it's just one of those that's like these I just feel like are good staples to have in my collection as like when I need them, these two are going to come through for me. So both of these have been products that I've had in my collection for a very long time and ones that I would recommend and what I'm going to keep. The one that I was kind of looking at as like do I need this one or not? This is from e.l.f. Their Stay All Day Blue Light Micro Setting Mist. Just so kind of the claims on this one is that obviously it's going to help your makeup last. It's going to protect you from blue light and that sort of thing. Sure, I don't know if I've ever really like notice that much from the setting spray. To me, this is one of those that I just don't reach for because if I am going for a spray, I'm typically grabbing either the MAC or the Urban Decay. So with that being said, and something that like I don't feel like I need to have a lot in my collection, I am going to declutter this one from e.l.f. It's more affordable. I just don't feel like I need it. The final setting spray I have here is from One Size. This is the Until Dawn Mattifying Waterproof Setting Spray. So I was just talking about this in a recent video. Was it my members video or was it a regular video? Now I can't remember which one, but this is one that I bought it because I've been seeing all the hype on it. This this is so funny. I don't mean to repeat the story, but in case you didn't see the video, what I was saying is when I first started using this, I bought this in the last Sephora sale, so this is pretty new to me. I started using it, and again, like I mentioned, I have dry skin, and I would look at my makeup and be like, oh wow, my skin looks really dry today. That's like crazy, to the point where like it was so many days in a row that I thought, oh, my skin is looking dry. I switched up like my serums and my skincare routine, and then I realized I was using a mattifying setting spray, and this really mattifies. You know, there are some setting sprays, there's primers, there's foundations that are like, this is mattifying, and you can't really tell a difference. You're like, I don't know, maybe my skin looks a little bit more matte. No, 100%, your skin will look more matte when you use this. And I will say, once I realized that, I was like, ooh, am I really going to like this though? Because like I already have dry skin. I don't need help making it like any more dry. But this keeps your makeup on. And I told the story of, I live in Las Vegas. We had the F1 races here a couple weekends ago. I was very busy. We were booked with several events, like a lot of the activations and pop-ups that happened before the actual race. I was all over the city. I was gone for very long hours. And this was the spray that I was using, and my makeup was not moving. My girlfriend, Katie, got to come out with me on the Friday and Saturday nights, and I was like, use this spray and tell me what you think, and tell me if you like think your makeup's moving or what. She messaged me on Sunday, and she was like, I need to buy this setting spray. Like, my makeup didn't move. It looked amazing the entire weekend, and I was like, yes. So I sent her the link. She already bought the setting spray. So again, this is one that I'm just very impressed with. Is it going to be something like, do I need to wear it every single time? No. Like if I were to look at my 3 primers, I think the MAC Fix Plus is going to be the one that I still kind of gravitate towards the most, because I feel like it just does something to like fix the makeup on your skin and make it look so nice. I kind of go into it of like the All Nighter and the One Size, like they both kind of, they can do the similar things. I do think that you get more, you can visibly see more of a difference with the One Size, I will say. It doesn't make me want to get rid of the All Nighter though, because sometimes I feel like maybe there's going to be times where it's like, I don't need my skin to be that dry and matte looking. I still want my makeup to be long wearing. I can go with the All Nighter. But if I really need that like extra insurance, or I think this one is going to be really nice in the hot weather months. I mean, it's December, 2nd, and it's 70 degrees in Las Vegas, but like when it's 115 degrees, I think this is going to be key for me in the summer months. I know I saw someone left a comment and said the trick with the One Size is to actually spray your face first with the Fix Plus and then spray it with the One Size, and it still gives you the long wearing effect, but it doesn't make the skin look as matte and as dry. And I was like, I'm intrigued. So I'm gonna have to try that. I have a lot of holiday events coming up this week. So I'm gonna try that trick and see if I notice any difference. But I would still say MAC Fix Plus is going to be number one. It's really like such a toss up between these. I think that I like that I can see the difference with the one size a little bit more, but the All Nighter is still a good option for you too. So this is going to be my little minimal collection for my sprays and my primers. We're getting rid of 1 primer and 2 sprays. We're keeping 2 primers and keeping 3 sprays. All right, then we are going to move over to my foundation collection. Foundation is something that I was, just kind of as a whole was trying to be more minimal. But to me, over the last year or so, I started to cut back less and less on foundations, and I started to just do like concealer and powder. Sometimes I would do like a powder foundation. I will say I do have some powder foundations as well, but I'm just keeping everything, everything powder wise is going to go in its own separate video. So I wanted to say that. I know some are technically considered, the powder foundation, but just to make it easy on myself, I'm going to keep all the powders and do powders, and I believe it's concealers that are going to be together. So for these, I have just all of my liquid foundations. Now I will say, saying that, being like, okay, I've kind of cut back on foundations and now I've been wearing concealers more. I think in the past 2 months, I've started to go back to wearing foundations more again, but it's because there's been some really good releases that I have been very impressed with. So for me, I definitely want to shout out the Urban Decay Face Bond. I have 2 shades here. These were sent to me in PR, but these shades actually worked out really well. This is what they sent me a few months back, and I was wearing this when I was a little bit more tan in the summer months, and you can see I used a lot of product in here. This one is shade 18. This is the shade that I'm going to now, which is 16, and you can already see the mark there. I feel like it's probably going to be looking close to shade 18 really quickly now. So again, I've mentioned dry skin. My preferences, I prefer a natural finish foundation. I prefer something that's more of a light to medium coverage. Medium, I don't usually want to go above medium. I don't like a full coverage, and I don't like a mattifying foundation. So this, to me, the Urban Decay, I have been so impressed with it. Those are all the things that I think it's more of that light to medium coverage. I think you can build it up a little bit more if you want to get to the medium coverage. It's very long wearing, it's comfortable on the skin, and it looks very natural. So I wear this so much. You always see it linked in my description box under the makeup that I'm wearing. I highly, highly recommend this one. So I will be keeping both of these. Along that same lines, we have this one from Sigma. I think this is the one that really started me going back to, this is a skin tint or a, lighter coverage foundation, but this is their Skin Perfector Hydrating Tint. This is such a beautiful product. The shade that I wear is in 3. It's going to have a lot of those similar claims as the Urban Decay, except I think that it's even more of a lighter coverage, which again is just something that I prefer. Oftentimes I say I'm looking for something that's my skin but better. This is very undetectable when I wear it on my skin, but it's still some kind of it kind of puts that filter effect onto your face, and I just think that it is so pretty. It also has some nice products in here like the hyaluronic acid, vitamin E, the squalene, niacinamide, and I just think this is one of the best releases that Sigma has done. I think too, I kind of started switching over to my Urban Decay because I'm almost out of this, and there was so many times I was using this in Get Ready With Me videos that you would see me I was trying as hard as I could to get even more product out of this. This is one that I'm just very impressed with. I highly recommend it if those are some of the things that you are looking for in your foundations as well. Highly, highly recommend this from Sigma. I do have a discount code with them, and that is Samantha. Another product that I tried this year that I love so much, I was just wearing this the other day. This is from Anastasia Beverly Hills, and this is their Beauty Balm. So this is a little bit different than the Urban Decay and the Sigma, as it comes in this balm form. Kind of looks like a little bit like deodorant, and you can, move it up and down here. I wear the shade 10. This one is a light medium 10. But once again, with foundations, you're going to hear me kind of say some of the same things. It is light coverage to me. I think that this is going to be the lightest from the Urban Decay to the Sigma. This is going to be even more light coverage than that. But it is something that you can build up to a light to medium. I don't really think you're going to get medium coverage out of this, at least for me. If you want a little bit more coverage, I would recommend using a brush. If you want a little bit more sheer coverage, I would recommend using a damp sponge. But it just looks so natural. Again, it's like a My Skin but better. it doesn't feel like you're wearing a lot of product, and I've just been super impressed with this one. So definitely wanted to give a shout out to the Anastasia. Another one that I really enjoy is from Urban Decay, and this is one, I've talked about this product for years. This is their Stay Naked Hydromaniac, the Tinted Glow Hydrator. I have to say, like, Urban Decay, I feel like knows what they're doing with their complexion products, especially as of recently, because this one to me was such an interesting product that I felt like when I was recommending this, I was hearing this from so many people with dry skin, with oily skin, acne prone skin, I mean, rosacea, like, even so, you know, like one of my aunts, was telling me how much she loves this foundation. And, you know, she has more mature skin. Some of my friends who are quite younger than me have used this foundation and said how much they love it. I was like, this is really like a very universally loved foundation, or a tinted hydrator, if you will. And honestly, I kind of feel the same about the Urban Decay, because I know my friend Angie really loves that one, and Angelica Nikvist, and we often do not have similar foundation preferences. I am more dry than she is, and I've just noticed throughout the years, like, we have very different foundation preferences. So when we have a foundation that we both love, I'm like, oh, okay, that's interesting. And I'm not going to lie, when Urban Decay first came out with their face bond, I wasn't super interested in trying it out because I knew that she loved it. And that's not saying anything bad. You know, obviously it's just that thing with makeup. Like, you have to really listen to why people are saying that they enjoy a product, what their skin type is, what their preferences are. And just because I know that about Angie, it's like, okay, so when she does foundation reviews, I'm probably not going to like the same ones as her. And so I wasn't super interested in trying it out. But it's just so funny to me that now this is with the face bond, that's another product from Urban Decay that I think is being universally loved amongst a lot of people. So that being said, I don't have a lot left in my tinted hydrator. I use the shade 41. I'm going to keep it until it's gone. And then I do have another one of these. Maybe I finally gave it away because I bought one when it was on sale. Why? Because I don't know, because I wasn't out of this one yet, but I bought it as a backup, and I'm pretty sure I gave it to one of my friends because I was like, please take this out of my backup drawer. This is ridiculous. So this is one that I have purchased before. I'm sure I will repurchase again, but I am going to keep that one. Okay, so one I know that I'm going to give away. This is from TirTir, and you know, this is one of those of like, I bought a viral product and didn't love it. Not to say that this is a bad product. It's just, again, it's one of those things of listening to the reviews on it, I was like, meh, I don't know if this is really going to be for me, but I still bought it anyways. This is the Mask Fit Red Cushion Foundation. I got the shade 24N Latte. I know someone who really wanted to try this. I'm not sure the shade match would be the absolute best, but you know, might as well try to rehome it if I can. So this is a cushion foundation. To me, this is just, it's a little bit too full coverage for what I prefer. I thought that it looked good on the skin. Again, to me, it's not a bad product. It's just one of those personal preference things. I knew it wasn't going to be my favorite. I gave it a few tries so I could review it. And again, it's not a bad product. It's just not what I prefer. I think it's just a little bit too heavy on my skin, and it looks a little bit too much like I'm wearing foundation when I have it. I just bought the mini size of it just to see if I liked it, but it's just not for me. So I'm going to pass it on to someone who hopefully will be able to get more use out of it than me. I've also decided that I am going to declutter my Dior Backstage foundation. So I've had this for a very long time. Honestly, there's very little left. You can see it was in a project pan at one point, so that's the mark for where it was. I mean, it's like, we're like talking like down here. Like, it's basically empty. I'm going to throw it away. I've had it for many years. I did love the Dior Backstage foundation. I wore the shade 2.5N. It's been reformulated. I've actually had a makeup artist use the reformulated version on me, and I still really liked it, but I've heard people say they don't love it as much as the original. So, you know, I feel like I'm pretty good. Like, I really want to keep the foundations that I'm actually wearing and like will continue to wear. And again, with this one being so old, like this and almost gone, this is one that I know that I can just say goodbye to. I have two here from Charlotte Tilbury. So these are the Unreal Skin Sheer Glow Tint Hydrating Foundation Stick. Okay. It's a little bit of a mouthful from Charlotte. I have the shades 3 and then also 5. 5 is the shade that I wear that I think works out really well for me. I don't think I've used the 3. No, the 3 does not look like it's been used, so I'm going to pass on the 3. Actually, I have some family who was interested in the TirTir, and then I'm just going to pop the Charlotte Tilbury into a box for them as well and see if they like this foundation. But I do like it. It's not an absolute favorite. I was kind of looking at it like, do I need to keep this one? Do I not? But I feel like I like it enough. I think I got the Anastasia and the Charlotte around the same time. I definitely like the Anastasia more. If you're like been kind of going back and forth between the two, for me, my preference is definitely going to be the Anastasia. But the Charlotte Tilbury is still nice. It glides on very easily. It blends out very easily. Again, it's going to be more of a light to medium coverage. To me, though, this is very hydrating. If you do have more oily skin, you might not love this one. For someone with dry skin even, there's sometimes where I look at my makeup when I wear it, I'm like, ooh, okay, like this is one where I feel like I would pair this with the One Size setting spray because even on my dry skin, I feel like this can get a little bit shiny at times, but I still think that it's a really pretty foundation. I also like the packaging. I feel like it's easy to travel with. So I'm going to keep one, declutter one. You also see that I have two here from Catrice. I really like this one from Catrice. This is their Nude Drop Tinted Serum Foundation. So the shades that I have is 40N and 30C. So actually, Catrice sent me 30C. I tried it out. I love the foundation so much, but I was like, this is too light for me. I bought the 40N on my own, and this is a much better shade match for me. So the 30C, I'm trying to decide like if I feel like it's still going to be too light for me even right now, if 40N is going to be a better match for me. I still feel like 40N is going to be the best. I really do. I'm like trying to decide. I just think the 30C is going to be too light for me, like no matter what. I think 40N is just going to be better. And you can see I have used a lot of the 40N. So this is a really good one. I mean, this is to me, I got this in PR and I was like, yep, but I'm going to go ahead and get my correct shade in it. I just bought this one off of Amazon. So I am going to declutter 30N. One of my girlfriends is quite fairer than me. I might see if she would like this one because she kind of has similar foundation preferences where she doesn't like anything that's super heavy or like super full coverage. And especially with this being the dropper foundation, you can kind of build it up as you want to. You can have it a little bit lighter if you want to. You can build it up a little bit more. Again, I don't think you're going to go past the light to medium coverage. Again, some nice skincare products in here like hyaluronic acid and vitamin C. But to me, I think this is a very slept on foundation. I don't hear a lot of people talking about it. I think it's a great option, and especially one that's more affordable. Oh, I actually have 36C too. Ooh, and look at that one. Okay, actually 36C I think I am going to keep because this might be a good winter shade for me. Yes, I'm going to keep 36C and also the 40N because I think 36C will be a good. Oh, good. I'm super happy because I was like, I feel like I can pull off 40N, especially maybe if I used a little bit lighter of a concealer and like did a little bit of, you know, something to kind of help it all blend out. But 36C I think will be a good match for me right now. So I don't often keep a lot of like multiple foundation shades, but you know, the one with the Urban Decay, I think the Charlotte Tilbury honestly to me is like light enough to get me like by through all of the different months. So I think that will be fine, but I'm super happy to have two shades in the Catrice. One that I do want to say goodbye to is this one from Patrick Ta. I have the shade Light Medium 1 for this one. I liked this product. To me, if you saw my bronzer blush declutter, I'm just like very iffy about all of my cream products right now. I feel like I'm looking at them real closely and I don't know, I just feel like the cream is looking a little suspicious in here. I have a little bit of hard pan on the powder, but again, hard pan isn't something that like scares me to be honest. But with my cream products, I've had this one from Patrick Ta for quite some time now. I thought it was a good product. I have quite a dip in the cream foundation. The powder I also thought was very pretty. There was a lot of times that I actually went into the powder, like I don't know if Patrick Ta, I don't think they have a single powder, right? I feel like if he were to release just like a single powder like this, I might buy it because I really did like this one. I also sometimes felt like I wondered if the foundation was breaking me out because when I would have times where I would wear this really consistently, I would notice breakouts and kind of weird spots. Like I can deal with hormonal acne like around my jawline and you know, chin, that sort of thing, but I would get breakouts like by my eyes and like my eyebrows, and I'm like, I wonder if it's the Patrick Ta. So again, just because that cream has been open for quite some time and it's not like a go-to like I have other go-tos for my foundations. Honestly, I've kept a lot of foundations. I'm going to put that one into my declutter pile. Foundation's so hard for me. Okay, these two are not technically foundations, but I wanted to include them in here because these are similar products to one another. So from the Auric, this is their Glow Lust, their Radiant Luminizer. And from Catrice, we have the Soft Glam Filter Fluid, their Glow Booster. So this is supposed to be pretty similar to like the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Glow, whatever that one is called. Honestly, I just want to say Pillow Talk, but it's supposed to be similar to that. I think that these are both nice products. The Auric is quite a bit more expensive. I don't really use this very often. It's something that you can like mix in with your moisturizer. You can mix it in with a foundation. You can use it on its own as a highlight. So there's a lot of different ways that you can use this product. And then the Glow Booster is pretty much the same. And a lot of times with this one, I would put it on before the Tinted Serum foundation. But for me, this isn't a step that like I absolutely have to do. Even with my dry skin, like it's just not something that I feel like I have to do. And I'm someone who's talked about like not needing to do 100 steps in my makeup routine and surviving just fine. And this is one of those that I don't feel like is super necessary for me. So I am going to declutter the Catrice. I'm going to keep around the Auric. And honestly, it's one of those things of like, it's Sam Ravindal's brand. I was a fan of hers for a very long time. She sent this to me in PR. I did declutter the other ones, but I kept around this shade, which is in Selenite. I did keep this shade, and I still want to continue to at least keep one shade because I think it's really cool. So it's not something that I wear the most of. If it's something that you're looking for in your routine, it's a good product. It's just not something that I feel like is super necessary for mine, but you can see the shade Selenite does give you that beautiful glow. All right, so we are getting down there. I've been staring at this one from Ilia like, what do I want to do? What do I want to do? This is the See Beyond Triple Serum SPF 40. Again, some ingredients like vitamin C, niacinamide. So this is kind of like your tinted sunscreen. I have the shade 2. The reason why I'm thinking of getting rid of it is because I've had it for quite some time, and I don't think I used it like at all this past summer, which is when normally I would be going for something like a tinted SPF, and I don't think that I reached for this one. If I did, it was like maybe once or twice. It is a nice product though. It was an expensive product. I bought it myself. I think it was like $48 or something for a tinted SPF. But I did it. I bought it. I liked it. It's just not something, again, I'm just thinking back to several months of hot weather that I had where I live, and I don't think that I reached for this one. So to me, that tells me that I can part with it. That's hard to do, but I think that it's necessary. I'm also looking at this Estee Lauder Double Wear. You can see it's very crusty. Sorry to anyone who hates seeing like crusty foundations. But again, I'm looking at it. I'm like, when is the last time I've used the Double Wear? I like the Double Wear. I don't think it's as full coverage as a lot of people say it is. I think to me, it's a nice medium coverage. And I've always kept this one around because it's been kind of like my fancy foundation, if you will. I don't even think Estee Lauder is all that fancy of a brand anymore. But to me, it was kind of like if I was doing a big event or something like that, like I was like, oh, let me use my Estee Lauder Double Wear. And I've used a lot of it. Like you can see, like, look at that. I have used a lot of this foundation, and I'm very proud of that. I just can't remember the last time that I wore it. And looking at my foundations and what I'm keeping light coverage, I'm keeping skin tints, I'm keeping light to medium, I'm keeping beauty balms, and I just don't think I'm going to be reaching for the Estee Lauder. I don't think this is really can be passed on to anyone. I'm probably just going to throw it away, but I wore the shade 3N1, and I did think that it was a very pretty foundation. And then the last two, so next up we have from L'Oreal. This is the True Match, their Super Blendable Foundation in N4. Okay, this was a favorite of mine for such a long time. This is what I was wearing. This to me is a medium coverage foundation, super natural, super blendable, just like it says. It's from L'Oreal. It's more affordable. I bought this one off of Amazon. I loved the like original way back in the day. It was one of my favorites. Went on to buy the True Match, thought it was great. But once again, I'm just like thinking, the foundations that I have kept so far, like that is what I'm wearing. My first thought was, oh, I'm definitely keeping the L'Oreal because I've loved it so much. And I'm like, Samantha, when's the last time you actually wore this? Like the point of my declutters as I'm sitting here and I look at my collection all at once is, when did you wear these? You know, it's kind of the same thing of like looking into your closet, and you know how some people do the trick of like putting their hangers on backwards or like the other way, and then you can kind of see at the end of the year the hangers that were untouched, and you know what you didn't wear. And this is kind of the thing for makeup collections. You get to come here at the end of the year and look at everything and think, okay, when's the last time I really wore this? And do you really need to keep it? So for me, even though I'm like, I want to keep this, it's a really nice product. What I always say in my declutters is I don't need to keep all of the good makeup because there's so much good makeup. This is a great product. It's one that I really recommend. I love that it's a little bit more of an affordable price point as well. I'm not keeping a ton of more affordable products. I have those ones from Catrice, but otherwise Charlotte, ABH, UD, Sigma, those are definitely more expensive, but they're what I'm wearing the most of, especially right now. So I'm actually going to declutter this one, and I'm slightly surprised right now. And then lastly, we have one of my newer foundations is from Mercier. This is actually a tinted moisturizer. They're natural skin perfector. It does have SPF 30 in here. I have the shade 3N1 or Sand. This is a really nice tinted moisturizer. Again, this one is a little bit newer to me. but I think that it's really beautiful. I had this in a recent Get Ready With Me. It's a great shade match for me, but it's very blendable. Again, it's your tinted moisturizer, so it's not going to be a ton of coverage to me. I think of this as more of that light to medium coverage. So I like that it still kind of evens everything out. Foundation, I did get in PR and actually requested it from the brand because I had seen so many positive reviews about it. And then just when I was reading about it, I thought, okay, it sounds like something that I think that I could really enjoy. So I asked the brand if they would send it to me, and they said yes. And I was very excited about it. And once I started trying it, I was like, this is a really beautiful product. And especially because I decluttered some of my other foundations that do have SPF in it. For me, that's not a make or break. It's not something that I find super duper important because I always wear SPF on its own too. But it's kind of just like one of those extra steps. This hasn't been something, sometimes people can complain foundations with SPF can break them out. I do have more sensitive skin and I haven't had any issues yet with this Laura Mercier. I also think because it is a little bit more on the newer side to me, it makes me want to keep it as well. But I've been really getting on with this one, so I am going to keep that one from Laura Mercier. So let me pull these out and see how we did. I think I kept more than I thought I was going to, but that's okay. Okay, so for my foundations, I am going to be keeping 10 and I'm decluttering 9. So we pushed this in half, which I'm really happy with that. And again, these are my favorites. These are what I'm wearing right now. Honestly, like the Auric, like maybe not like as much, but that's okay. We have 2 shades of the Catrice. We have 2 shades of the Urban Decay, but these are the products that I'm really wearing the most. Some of these, again, have older, been open for a long time, really just need to be tossed or almost gone, or just there's a few that maybe don't shade match the best for me, or I just don't love. But honestly, now kind of seeing it broken down like this, I feel a lot better about where my foundation collection is. It's a little bit more for someone who says she doesn't normally wear foundations, but especially because I have been getting into them more towards the end of the year, I think this is a great little foundation collection. So after that, that is going to be it for my makeup collection and declutter number 2 of the year. Stay tuned for part 3 coming soon. I hope you enjoyed this one. I'll see you in the next one.